Let's talk about mental health. When you hear the term mental health, what do you think of? Mental health is a state of well-being. It's part of who we are. Mental health describes our feelings and emotions, our behaviors, and how we view ourselves and our surroundings. It's important to think of mental health on a scale. People fall on different parts of the scale, and where they fall may change throughout their lives. Let's use the idea of vision to explain this concept more clearly. Some people have high vision, and some have low or poor vision. Others fall somewhere in between. We also know that people might have a form of visual impairment, low or high, or in between. When we put the two scales together, we can see that someone with a visual impairment can wear contacts or glasses to improve their vision. Similarly, someone with a visual impairment who does not wear contacts or glasses will have low vision. Someone with no visual impairment but who isn't very observant will also have low vision. Viewing mental health this same way helps us understand that someone with a mental illness can have good mental health if they're getting the support they need from a doctor or counselor. Similarly, someone can have no symptoms of a mental illness but still have poor mental health if they're not taking care of themselves. For instance, not getting enough sleep or spending too much time alone. People with mental illness can enjoy good mental health and a high quality of life, just as people with a physical disability or chronic health condition like diabetes can also enjoy a high quality of life. What does the term mental illness mean to you? There are many types of mental illness, all diagnosed by healthcare professionals like doctors and psychologists. A diagnosis is a label healthcare professionals use to communicate with one another to ensure people are getting the right care. A diagnosis is something that only a healthcare professional can give. A diagnosis of a mental illness does not define a person, just like a diagnosis of a physical illness wouldn't define a person. It's important to remember that people do not need to have a diagnosis to receive help for mental health challenges. We all experience mental health challenges from time to time, and we'll talk more about these later. A person with a mental illness might experience these challenges regularly, perhaps even most of the time. This may affect our ability to function in school, at home, or with other people. Someone diagnosed with depression may feel sad every day for several weeks, have great difficulty talking to people, or doing things they normally enjoy. This doesn't mean that people diagnosed with a mental illness are always ill. People often cope with mental illness, especially with help, and can be successful at school, at home, and with other people. Remember, someone who has a physical illness can be physically healthy, and someone with a mental illness can be mentally healthy. There are many things that make up who we are, that make up our quality of life. Social relationships, physical health, creativity and intellect, even what we eat. Some of these things are within our control, and some, like where we live, are not. Challenges in one area will affect other areas. They're all connected. These things also affect our mental health, and vice versa. Our mental health affects all of these things. For example, an argument with a friend may make us feel angry. The anger we feel can affect our friendship. If we're in a bad mood, we might get into arguments with other friends more easily. One thing that leads to mental health challenges is stress. Stress can be positive, in the sense that it may motivate us to do something, like study for that test. Too much stress or feeling stressed for long periods of time can contribute to mental health challenges and sometimes to mental illness. Stress can also worsen existing mental illness symptoms. Think for a moment about things that can lead to mental health challenges. Feeling very sad, anxious, or scared. perhaps the loss of a loved one, or moving to a new school. Everyone experiences mental health challenges, often in different ways. For example, we may feel like we can't enjoy life, hang out with our friends, or focus in school. But with support and resources, we can get through these challenges. When we're mentally healthy, have good coping strategies, or have caring adults we can talk to, we can more easily manage mental health challenges. Think about the people you could go to if you or someone you know is experiencing a mental health challenge. So, what does mentally healthy mean? What does it look and feel like? When we're mentally healthy, we can experience a range of different emotions, from happiness and pride to sadness and anger. We find it easier to cope with hard times. We can be creative and learn. We can try new things and take on new challenges. There are many ways we can help ourselves to be mentally healthy. Think about the types of people, activities, or things that help you feel mentally healthy. Everyone needs help sometimes. A doctor for physical health, a teacher for educational support. Help with mental health might be from a doctor, psychologist, school counselor, or community organization. Informal support comes from family or friends. Discussing mental health and mental illness isn't that different from a conversation about physical health and physical illness. Think about how you would talk to someone with a physical illness. Chances are you would talk to them in the same way you would anyone else. The same goes for someone experiencing a mental health challenge. Remember to be kind and respectful. Listen compassionately and empathetically. But most importantly, seek help for your friend in need. Reach out to a caring adult who you trust. If that adult isn't available, think about your plan B, such as calling Kids Help Phone and speaking with one of their counselors. Mental illnesses affect everyone, young or old, rich or poor, living in big cities or small towns. It's thought that about 20% of Canadians will personally experience a mental illness in their lifetime. That's one person in every 5. Perhaps you already know someone who struggles with their mental health, or who's been diagnosed with a mental illness. Today, more and more people, athletes, musicians, and celebrities, are talking openly about mental health and their experiences with mental illness. It's time to do our part. Let's talk about mental health.